I got some Kamala for you today, Becky. I got some Kamala for you. Don't you even worry about that. I got something good you can share with your friends. It's going to absolutely solve all the people's biscuits. Have no fear. Have no fear. June 10th opened up Pandora's box. I agree with you. Amen and amen. All right, real quick. Got a quick video that I did. I want to get your feedback on it. I just dropped the link to it in the chat as well. Don't go to it yet, though. Let me share it with y'all first. Let me share it with you and get your thoughts. Get your thoughts. All right. So this is going to be a political conversation. So we're going to. All right. We can get political over here. We can have a political dialogue. Okay. We can be even keel. We don't have to fight about anything because at the end of the day, Jesus Christ is still Lord. So I just want to talk to you about Kamala Harris. So real quick video. I'm going to play it. I'm going to get out of the way and let y'all see. Give me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. Let's go. Let's go.
Indian. Yes. But actually, we're both. So we're both Indian. Yes. But actually, we're both South Indian. Yes.
Now a word from our sponsors.
Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different.
What did he say?
So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Now, we were in Cleveland for the Republican National Convention. It seemed like Donald Trump and company were trying to make an overture to the South Asian community. They had a Sikh Ardas to start off day two. They had Muslims for Trump. What, if anything, is the Democratic Party trying to do to get South Asians involved in this party?
Yeah, well, the Democratic Party for a very long time, not just this election cycle, has been doing a lot of active outreach around the South Asians, around the API in general, and will continue to do it. I mean, what we know in particular when you're talking about the South Asian community, we're talking about the Indian community more specifically, it is a growing community in the United States in terms of its voting bloc, in terms of its participation, and I think the party knows that and knows that this is part of our collective community, and there needs to be outreach and inclusion.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
Kamala Harris, Attorney General of California, U.S. Senate candidate. Thank you so much.
And she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black.
One of the questions that the black community has is, Senator Harris, if you are elected president, what would be your agenda for the black community?
Right.
We know that black Americans are arrested at higher rates for marijuana.
Right.
We're denied mortgages when we loans for mortgages. Right. There's a wealth disparity. So how do you help the black community from the White House?
That's right. Well, the first step is to understand that the needs of black folks are the needs of everyone, and the needs of everyone are the needs of black folks. It is also equally important to understand that this is a country that had over 200 years of slavery, 200 years of slavery.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Had Jim Crow, had legalized segregation and discrimination, and now de facto segregation and discrimination.
Until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman.
Becoming the first Indian American woman to be nominated as a vice presidential candidate in America.
I stand before you as the first candidate for vice president of the United States of South Asian descent.
She is always identified as a black woman.
I respect
a historically black college.
HBCUs, for example. I am a proud graduate of Howard University.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian.
I stand before you as the first candidate for vice president of the United States of South Asian descent.
All the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she went.
So here's what I want to know.
Okay.
Is it respectful to call, like, I should be calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay.
Kamala? Yes, please.
Okay, because the Indian in me I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie. Just don't call me auntie. Just don't call me auntie.
Okay. I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
You are Indian.
Yes.
You are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like our thing we're so excited about.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
Indian to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do. Yes.
You are
Yes.
Indian. I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food, lots of rice and yogurt, potato curry, dal, lots of dal, idli.
Yes, Italy. That's a deep cut. Okay, so what we're cooking today is
Right, Marlon. So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around.
She became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask.
Like so many other holidays, we will be celebrating Kwanzaa a little differently this season in our home. You know, my sister and I, we grew up celebrating Kwanzaa. Every year, our family would, and our extended family, we would gather around across multiple generations and we tell stories. The kids would sit on the carpet and the elders would sit in chairs and we would light the candles and of course afterwards have a beautiful meal. South Indian food, lots of rice and yogurt, potato curry, dal, lots of dal, idli.
yes, Italy. That's a deep cut. Okay, so what we're cooking today is
That one didn't age quite so well.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
All right, my good people, I need your feedback. Oh, this thing's still playing. Sorry. I need your feedback. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Am I doing too much? All right, let me see real quick. I hate identity politics. I agree. My only point in making this video was to point out the fact that I do hate identity politics. When all you do is feast at the table of identity politics, this is what you get. You end up getting a Indian woman cosplaying as a black woman and having black people pretending like they don't know this, because this information is all on YouTube. Everything I got in that video was from YouTube. All right, what do we got here? Was wondering if you were going to chime in on this one. I'm glad I didn't let you down, Tawanda. I'm glad I didn't let you down. Okay, I'm dying. Okay, he cracks me up. Okay, what's going on, Shar? Thank you so much. Too funny. Oh my word, this is hilarious. I'm glad y'all like it. Okay, great. Because auntie is a black word. Okay. I've heard other people say it. Now, I've heard other people groups say auntie. But I mean, I think we don't have to part ways on that for sure. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Audrey says funny but facts. There we go. Trump makes some good points. But he can't be the messenger. He lacks the tact, amongst other things. I kind of agree with you. I've had a little, I had some feelings about that whole exchange he had where he was actually talking about, that I used in the clip of him talking about Kamala. I had some feelings about it, but that's beside the point. Oh my goodness. She's probably never ever cooked, let alone cooked greens. You know what I would love to know? I would love to know what does the Indian community actually think? Because I mean, they're very proud of her when she was running as senator. You see clearly that they said she's the first Indian American senator from California. You actually used to be able to do the Google search and type in first American. Let me see. All right. First Indian American senator from California. It comes back. It's funny because it comes as Kamala Harris, but she's allegedly black. I'm just gonna leave it alone. That bathtub was so crazy. That was so wild. I'm sorry. I don't even understand. Never said really. Yeah. Pitiful how some people sell themselves short, less than, to fit in and win people's votes. Shaking my head. I agree. Greens in the bathtub took me out. Thank you so much, Shannon. Says bravo. People need, and my point has always been, I want policy over personality. If your policies are good, and I do believe that, sure, there could be some policies that maybe benefit one people group above another, but it should not benefit one people group above another at the expense of the other people group. So example being a bill or a policy that strongly encourages marriages and men staying with their wives and wives staying with their husbands. Now, there are people groups that would really, really benefit. It would be a blessing if they flipped the welfare situation on its head and said, if you're married, they changed the dynamics that strongly encourage marriages and people to stay married. There are people groups that would really be a blessing to, but it wouldn't hurt another people group. That's what I mean. But if you do something like reparations, I do disagree with reparations. There's no basis for it. Catch me outside if you really have a problem with it. dearwokec@gmail.com. Reparations benefits only one people group and causes a lot of harm to other people groups. And dare I say, it also causes animosity between all the people groups. So that's not a good policy. So a policy that ultimately benefits one people group at the expense of another is a bad policy. A policy that could benefit all people, but maybe helps one more than another as an unintended consequence, that's a good policy. I'll continue. Yeah. Gloria says that she's all things to all people, whatever it takes to win a vote. No black mama would allow washing the vegetables. That was a joke. Literally, that was a joke. I honestly have no idea. I never would have thought somebody would honestly say that they wash their greens in the bathtub. Oh my gosh, I broke the internet? Man, come on. Give me that. Give me my broken internet award. I'll take it. Thank you so much. I found the Indian references, Donna, to be so impactful because she's claiming to be an Indian. She's claiming it. She's taking responsibility as being Indian. She doesn't say she's black. There's other clips as well. I put in tons of it. How she speaks about, when you listen to her speak about black people, the black culture, the black people group, she doesn't say it like she's a part of it. You never hear me talk about like, I am not a black man. I am of the high melanin. You very rarely hear me say as if I am another people group, as if it's different from me. And she says things and you're like, and you just listen like, are you a part of this group of people? Seems weird. If you're not true to yourself, I can be true to an agenda. Yikes. I agree. Nobody should ever wash green. Can't we all do, you know what? I think we can get everybody to agree. Red and yellow, black and white, tall, short, male, female. I think everybody can agree. You do not wash greens in the bathtub. I think you know what? We have brought world peace, at least for a few seconds, that everybody can agree you do not wash greens in the bathtub. There we go. We brought peace here. That's what we do here at Dear Woke Christian. In the comment section, in the chat, we done brought world peace, y'all. We done brought world peace for a few nanoseconds. Everybody can agree you do not wash your greens in your bathtub. You just don't. Shara says that she's not Mexican, so I can't vote for her. She's not pandering to me. Well, I mean, there you go. Again, if we just require policy over personality, because I mean, my next one is going to be all of the pandering that they do. Because yeah, she thinks she got away with that pandering she did here in Atlanta yesterday. You did not. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're coming for that too. And that pandering that happened here, it tells you, yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. Let me just go ahead and do it. The lady on that Zoom call that was talking, I think her name was Miss Frazzled. She's a kindergarten or first grade teacher, and she was talking really, really condescending to adults. And most people were super offended by just the way she was presenting herself as like, as a white person, this, that, and the third, and other like that. And we all realize that they think you're dumb. That's why they talk to you like that. They literally think that you're not mentally able and capable of having an adult conversation, an 18-plus-year-old conversation as a possible voter. They don't treat you like that. They literally think you're a child. And we see that all the time. But another thing that I think you see all the time is the idea that Black people can only be addressed through entertainment. If you just go back and watch the 2020 election, some of the ads that they ran that were clearly directed toward the high melanin count people. Remember Get to the Polls, and they had like pole dancers, or no voting, no vucking. And they had people talking about like it was like an app that if you weren't a Democrat, voting Democrat, you could not be engaged in extramarital affairs with people because you weren't voting. I'm not making that up. Look it up yourself. No voting, no vucking. VUCKING. This is what they think about Black people. This is what they think. They think Black men are hyper. That's all we think about is with our janks. And the only way, I mean, it's insane. So the fact that she had Meg the Stallion, matter of fact, okay, yeah. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. Please make sure you email management and let me know how terrible I am. I really appreciate it. When Kamala Harris got up to introduce Meg the Stallion at her rally yesterday, please remember she called her Meg. You know why she called her Meg? Because Meg the Stallion is a totally debased personality. She just called her Meg because she didn't want her people to realize that she's talking about a debased, womanizing, misogynistic female rapper. She didn't want them to know that. So she said, is this Meg? See, that's how you know. She's aware of her debauchery. She's aware. DearWokeC@gmail.com if you disagree. You know where to find me. All right. I don't know, Slick. I reached out and I have not heard back. So I'm sorry. I don't know where Ebon is. I was here. I'm here. No, he never came on. All right, let's keep this going. Let's keep this going. All right. See, that's what I'm saying. Red's Jack is asking the hard questions, and that's where the problems start. But why not just make it that you're an American that is looking out for the good of all Americans? I'm just saying, just wondering. Because you don't hear Trump saying, nobody's asking Trump, what are you going to do for white people? I've never heard him say, anybody ask him, what are you going to do for white people? I hear him asking about all these other ancillary groups. And a lot of the times he's telling you what he's going to do for all people. But why do they only, like, why is it, what are you going to do for one people group? Now, again, you can do things that benefit everybody, and you could even couch it as you're benefiting one particular people group. I think you could do that. I'll go back to my marriage example. You can say, yo, I'm trying to build strong Black families. So we want them to be, because we believe that having good families is going to be what's the pillar of the community and really help the community by having husbands and wives in the same household raising children. You can say that. But is that a disadvantage for white people? What about Hispanics, Asians, other people groups? Everybody benefits from that. So if you do a bill or have a policy in play that helps build strong marriages, nobody's at a disadvantage. So why not do that? Because they don't care about that. They ultimately don't care. They're more racist than anybody that they claim is racist. My name is Jason dearwokesy@gmail.com. I respect your opinion on reparations. Honestly, how do you feel about the Jewish community getting theirs and communities getting theirs? I disagree with all of those. Reason being, well, let me say it like this. The other communities and the communities you're talking about are the Jewish community and the Japanese community. Both of them receive reparations of some sort and shade or color soon after the war. So it was literally that generation or one generation removed. Is that fair? What are we talking about? To me, I think truly the reparations argument for Black Americans of former slaves and all that kind of stuff like that is a carrot that they just keep out there to keep securing votes. Because at the end of the day, how do you prove that? How do I prove that my ancestors were slaves? And then how does somebody who's less melanated prove that their ancestors were actually slave owners? They make it seem like everybody in America was a slave owner. That's not true. They make it sound like every African was a slave. That's not true either. So again, how are they going to figure this out? That's how you know they're not really about some level of making something right that was wronged. They're not. They're just literally carroting it. I know Rachel Delazar is pulling out her afro right now. The Black community humiliated her for what? Usurping Black heritage, but it's okay because there is an agenda. I agree, Gloria. There you go. I like it. That's so cringe. The Cherokee Indians and Blackfoot Indians in me can't stand her trying to identify as a different race. That suits her needs. I agree. I'm just waiting to see, like, at what point do they actually say, hey, you know what? We I want to know what the Indian community is saying about this. Okay, let's see what Karen says. The Washington Examiner on July 31st, 2019 quoted her, "I'm Black and I'm proud of being Black. I was born Black and I will die Black." Okay, not a problem. Then why were you accepting being Indian literally the next year? Well, I'm sorry. In 2016, she was Indian. I'm just wondering. Just wonder. And here we go. Beloved son of AMA. Blessings to you, DWC, and to the chat. There have been multiple other ethnic groups that have received reparations. It helped them build their communities and businesses according to that race. Okay. I disagree with that, though. There isn't a logical reason for reparations outside of the fact that you just want that you want to, again, I call it money laundering. You want to money launder somebody else's resources. And hear me, I'm open to being wrong, but I'm not. She said bathtub. She didn't say like a wash tub, because I could give you a wash tub. I can probably be willing to give you a wash tub, like the tin, that aluminum thing. I could probably give you that with a little bit of movement, but she didn't say that. She said a bathtub. And I'm not. There's no way you're going to convince me that Kamala Harris had access to a aluminum or tin wash tub. I'm not here to believe that. Yeah, she mentioned there were like 4 or 5 rappers, uh, Rashid, that were there that were endorsing her. I think it was Quavo and again Meg The Stallion and several others. And to me, it seemed like she seemed to move around that name really interesting. Go back and watch. I'm sure y'all have seen it on Twitter and other places. Like, oh, that's what y'all think about us. That's what gets people to excited about voting. Not policies, not principles, but whether or not somebody's twerking. Gotcha. Okay. And that's all I'm saying. Like, we can't have I mean, we've had this too much. If let's rewind to Barack Obama. If Barack Obama shut down the argument that, yo, I'm here for Americans, I think we would have shut down, because that's really the high watermark. That's when identity politics really kicked into like super overdrive. There was again, it was bubbling, it was brewing, but it was on full boil under Obama. He could have easily shut that down and been like, no, I'm not a black president. I'm not just the president for black people. Please understand, we make 16% of the population. I'm here as the American president. That would have fixed a lot of those problems and put a kibosh on that, but they didn't. They just ran with politics. Okay, let me make sure I didn't. Yeah, I was supposed to have a guest come by, and I had not heard from him. Yeah, I never heard from him. So her as president does scare me as well. However, I realize that Christ is still Lord. So her presidency, she's actually second most important person on the planet. Christ is still king. So therefore, as long as Christ is still king, I guess I can trust that whoever he puts in place is who he's put in place to help me in my sanctification and bring me into Christ likeness. So I'm good. Okay, let me see. Lots of conversation. Good conversation back and forth. I love the conversation. And hear me. My mom used to wash collards in a huge pot that would go on the stove. We have 2 of them now. And at no time do we ever consider washing them in the bathtub. Let me address this right quick. Vanessa says she went to an HBCU and she belongs to a predominantly black sorority. Let me ask you a question. I'm a Morehouse graduate, class of 1999, the house. There were white men in my graduating class. Every fraternity has white men in it. Every sorority has white women in it. What does that change? Doesn't change a thing. It's a predominantly black sorority, predominantly black college or university. They have white students. That's all it is. That doesn't mean that just because she went to Howard does not mean she's black. It doesn't. Again, there are Morehouse brothers who are white. There are Spelmanites who are white. That does not mean a thing. Angelina Jolie's daughter goes to Spelman. I think she graduates next year. None of that matters. And I think, in my opinion, her going to Howard and becoming an AK was actually part of her blackification, the black facing of Kamala Harris, because otherwise she's just been an Indian woman. But she could always fall back and say, to me, that actually, when you listen to the conversation that Trump was having with the black journalist, the first thing the woman says is that she went to a black college, as if that means only black people go to black colleges. I mean, I know people from Middle East that attended Morehouse. I know people who are Hispanic that attended Morehouse. Of course, white. That's not a high bar. Just something to think about. I think you're talking about Twan. I think you're talking about Rachel Dolezal. She was she was a president of the NAACP or some chapter of the NAACP. It was crazy. And I'm fearful of this right here, Rashid, because she's reaching for the young urban votes. The influence of the hip hop community is powerful, and politicians are aware of it. I hate that that's what they think about them. That's what they think about the young voters. The young voters are not concerned about gas prices. Young voters are not concerned about the job market or anything else. They're just concerned about whether or not Meg Thee Stallion is still able to shake her derriere, and there is the support. Yeah, Shannon says it right here. My white friend attended an HBCU. I know tons of them. Y'all are killing me with these greens. She can know something about her culture because they're around her, but she's just not a Black woman. That's it. And the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because at the current moment, the drumbeat is that highly melanated men need to support Kamala Harris because she's a Black woman. I call full stop. Number one, she got a whole husband. Her husband can protect her. She's got Secret Service. They're going to do their best to guard her. I don't need to do anything for her because she ain't did nothing for me. I don't think she's going to do anything that is going to even remotely rhyme like she's looking out for me. So no, kick rocks. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. And again, just because you hang around Black culture, that makes you an advocate for, please. Okay, well, okay, let's go with it. Being from the Delta, Mississippi, cotton picking land, we do use bathtubs for preparing large meals. I'm just being honest. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think that's what she experienced? I mean, because my grandparents are from Mississippi as well. And I'm positive I could have asked my grandmother and she probably would have told me a conflicting story than what I've said so far. But do you really want me to believe that's what Kamala Harris did? I'm just wondering. She used Howard to learn Blackness. That's why her version of Blackness in American culture is not Caribbean. There we go. See? Just had to clear that up. Yeah, no, and hear me. I totally understand. I do believe that there are situations and such like that. But if she had said wash tub, I probably would have got with her. But she said bathtub. And I'm sorry. There's no way. I just can't get with that one. I just can't. But Apex coming in hot like a biscuit. He said the Black Kamala Harris has allowed millions of illegal immigrants that Black people will have to compete with for jobs. And also might also add not only jobs, but also social services. So look in New York, they are drowning. Look at Chicago. They are choking with the amount of immigrants that have come up. I'm sure Wisconsin up there, the Michigan area as well. They're probably really struggling with the amount of people, not just jobs, but just social services, because they've built their backbone off of providing services. And it's getting wild up there. So pray for them. Pray for them that that wisdom will prevail and that smart decisions can come into play again. Like I'm totally for immigration, just legal immigration. That's it. So everybody, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Let's get at it again real soon. Everybody, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again, Lord willing, real soon. Take care, everybody. Grace and peace.
Hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.